now?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, here we are, another Thursday live with you for another episode of Chiropractic is Sexy. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin.
I'm Dr. Erica Peabody, and we're so happy to be here. So I have skeleton makeup to put on for the afternoon, and I almost came. Well, next week will be the day before Halloween.
I figured next Thursday we'll be dressed up for Halloween.
Okay, we'll do that. But I am surfing in costume tonight.
Oh.
And I was gonna do light makeup, but I'm like, you know what? Let me wait till after the podcast this week.
You know, we were in full costume last year too.
We were. That was fun because I think Thanksgiving was a Thursday. So
Halloween, Thanksgiving or Halloween, either one. Yes. That's
Where
okay. All right. So listen, we want to get you guys rocking and rolling today. And our title of today's episode is You Can't Out Adjust a Chaotic Life. And today's content was inspired, Dr. Eric and I go back and forth each and every week. And these topics come inspired from people we've seen that week, stories that we've heard. And so we just want to bring these lessons from our adjusting tables right here to the microphone, to the screen for each and every one of you. And this particular episode for me is just interesting because it's not just one person that I've had this experience with. It's so many, but a recent experience is what started to culminate. Like all of these stories are coming about. So I have patients that come in and they're under a tremendous amount of chaos in their lives, a tremendous amount of trauma, years of it. They're in bad marriages. It's all women. And they are, the most recent was she had to pay cash for her visit because she didn't want her husband to know. And she has severe digestive issues. She's been in fight or flight for many, many years. And this just describes so many women that we work with. And men, I don't mean to exclude you, but this is just the pattern that I've seen lately in my practice. And this is also where when people come to us and they want to know, is chiropractic going to help them? We're going to help you the best possible way we can, because your nervous system does not know if it is being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or if you have a narcissistic husband at home who's kept you in trauma state for 30 years. And so we want to really unpack this today and talk about where does chiropractic fit in that? And what are all the lifestyle things that you need to be doing to optimizing and protecting your nervous system? Because unless you get out of trauma, you're not going to start to solve your issues.
Right. So the fight and flight, I was thinking about this as I was reviewing, kind of our discussion today. And I was thinking about how bad right now the vagal tone and polyvagal work and breath work and all of those things that are out there right now. And every time I come across something and, even patients will bring like, oh, I just started this like vagal tone stimulator. I started this blah, 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 whatever it is. And I'm like, we've been doing that for 130 years with the chiropractic adjustment. But the one thing is that people don't really realize, like even I had a new patient yesterday and it was talking about, she was been in severe pelvic pain since February. And she needed to be here years ago, truly. But to respond to the adjustment, like her entire system is in so much pain that her whole system is in fight or flight. Now we can think about, like you said, we don't know if it's a saber-toothed tiger that is creating this fight or flight, or if it's just a Tuesday, just a really stressful Tuesday.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily be like home discord or whatever. Like there's so many ways and layers that we are in fight or flight, and chronic pain is definitely one of them. So yeah, there's so many different things, but like this vagal tone, this polyvagal theory, this breath work, this parasympathetic work, that's exactly what the chiropractic adjustment does. And that's exactly what is happening every time you get adjusted, no matter what. So
there was, so Dr. Monique Andrews, she's a fellow chiropractor. I don't know her personally. I don't know if you've ever met her before, but she's a neurologist She does a lot of chiropractic neurology. She's just a badass when it comes to the science behind chiropractic and really just helping to make sure that chiropractic stays in the foundation of its roots, which is what Dr. Eric and I are here talking about. And she posted on her page today, and it was just a quote, and it says, adjust the spine and you change the brain. Change someone's brain and you change their life.
Absolutely.
And this, I was like, yes. And I said, that's the big idea. We've read you guys the big idea here before, where one adjustment to one man is a small thing. But then when you start to expand it out into the world, it is life changing, and it is community changing, and it is world changing. So, we just want to help you to start to navigate, how do we optimize? Everybody wants a better brain. Everybody wants a better nervous system. And if you are a random Tuesday, if it's a random Tuesday that's getting you all flared up, or if it's a crazy spouse, or it's a coworker, whatever it is, when you're getting adjusted, that creates a level of calm and brings you back from fight or flight into rest, digest, and repair, so that then all of those traumas, you could manage them a little bit better. Now, as chiropractors, though, when you come to us and you say, I don't think chiropractic care is working, this is where we always have to, we talk about the stress versus chiropractic. So you come to us, let's say you're coming once a week, twice a week, 3 times, whatever we say you should be here. Let's say it's once a week on average. You're here once a week for 5 minutes. What is happening?
Right. Outside of here?
For the whole rest of the week.
Yeah.
And then you want to come in and say, chiropractic isn't working, or I just slept wrong, or I don't know, I just woke up like this. So it's starting to really take a look in the mirror and start to say, oh, yeah, right. I better take care of myself at a much greater scale. So we want to give you exercises and talk about moving your body and making sure you're hydrated outside of being here.
Right.
And if the thing, whatever it is that you're dealing with, if we're finding that you're doing too much ahead of your adjustments, we're going to say, you know what, you need to I want to see you a couple more times this month, because we always want to stay ahead. We want to stay one step ahead with your adjustments than the stress in your life. But we also aren't a Hail Mary. And that's why we said you can't out adjust a chaotic life. So if you aren't doing the lifestyle things on the other side of that, if you're still going out and eating McDonald's every day and getting into road rage and any of those other things, chiropractic isn't going to help you. I have to say that out loud,
Yeah, no, I agree. And Silly Lily had just said she's watched the first Friday the 13th movie in the theater. Within 5 minutes, her body said, get out. I feel the same exact way. And that's when we're talking about the difference. Like, there's not a lot of difference between running from a saber-toothed tiger, which we don't have to do anymore, and we're dealing with a regular, just a Tuesday, a super stressful, whatever it is inside of there. Like, when you're watching a movie like that, all of the stress hormones, the cortisol, the adrenaline, and all of that is still, it's coursing through your body, unless you can really create a separation between the screen and me. I cannot do that. I am incapable of not being in the movie. And so that's why I don't watch TV. I make sure that, I do consume social media, but I do my best to get out there and be intentionally creating my life and my world, because the physiology that surrounds those, like fear and all of that stuff, like that is really, really true. And enough of those kinds of feelings of road rage, annoying coworker, spouse, whatever it is, family, that is enough. So there's actually 4 things now, but we always have talked about thoughts and toxins and traumas. And everybody would know if you get in a trauma, right? So you get in a car accident, you have a slip, whatever you say,
trip, fall, anything,
anything,
accident, injury. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are really obvious. Get yourself to a chiropractor. I had a guy in here, I haven't seen him in a year. He came in yesterday, was deadlifting, and he like, I get a lot of deadlifting injuries for whatever reason. Just stop, we don't have to overdo the deadlift, people.
Yeah.
Or the burpee, those two things. But anyway,
Kettlebells.
yeah. So he was like, it was so obvious what he had done that overdid his system. However, he's also a dentist and sits in this slouched over position, helping people with dental fear. I would hate to be a dentist. I really would. And my dental hygienists that come in here, they're like, we are people's most dreaded part of their week, month, 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as chiropractors, we're people's favorite part. It's so easy and awesome to be a chiropractor. But as people start coming in and they're unwinding from all of that stress mode, then they get to the point where we set them off into like what we would call, let's maintain this, or let's like get some sort of regular care. And then patients come in and they report to me. They'll say something like, and I encourage it too, and will often plant this in their minds. It feels like when your computer is running haywire and you press Control-Alt-Delete and you hard reset your computer, the adjustment does that. But if you've done this for too long, it takes repetition to keep doing that. Control-Alt-Delete, Control-Alt-Delete, Control-Alt-Delete 3 times a week, then down to 2 times, then down to once, and then every other week is every week for me, but every other week at least, and then no less than every 3, because that's when scar tissue starts to form in these postures. So yeah.
Well, and our environments are so unique also because we know there's so much power in the adjustment, but since I started practice, and I'm sure you can agree with me on this, but I always said, I want people to leave happier than when they walked in. And most people who come here, when we just think about being at the chiropractor, while the adjustment itself is gold, when they enter, they're greeted by a really happy dog in both of our offices.
Yep.
It's a happy environment. They're greeted with joy and enthusiasm and a smile. Most of the time, you guys are walking through your day, and one of my biggest pet peeves is like going into a store and the cashier is just like, nah, and then having a side conversation with the whatever other coworker, and you don't even get greeted. And it's like, you're in the service industry and we're in the business of helping people feel better. And then, so if we don't greet them from the second they walk in the door, that level of joy and welcoming into basically our space, our home, that, gives them a sense of belonging. That starts the calming process. And then they get on the table and it's like, I always say, I'm the only person in your day that's going to tell you to lay down and relax and do nothing. And, they laugh and I'm like, I'm serious. I just need you to lay there for a minute. And then we put our hands on them and there's power in touch. And then of course, with the adjustment, and we know we're unlocking the nervous system and restoring that navigation from the brain to the body. So chiropractic is not just the adjustment. I know that's the biggest thing, but our environment invites that rest and digest part of the nervous system to enter. It's a safe place. Like when you walk in, part of the reason we're in fight or flight all the time is you don't feel like you have a safe space to let your guard down. And you come in here and it's like immediately you feel like you can start to let go.
Yeah, there's one of my friends and I talk a lot about where are your cues of safety. So like when you look around in your environment, and I think we could actually, like if you went through your environment, there's probably a worksheet out there that just says, how many cues of safety do you have in your day? Like for me, when I walk the threshold into this office, as soon as I walk the threshold of the door, everything around here is how I created it. Like I have a hot tea as well, but I have like all these things that remind me that this is a safe place. When I go to my home, fortunately, I live by myself with 2 dogs, and I live in what's like literally like a sanctuary. All of that is cues of safety. The community that I live in, like I look around for cues of safety. So if we looked around yourself right now, and you can just say, what are 10 cues that I'm safe in this moment. And if you can't start to anchor to those, it's really getting the brain in fight or flight. If you just think of the phrase cues of safety. And so one of the things that happens when people walk in our doors is we have the same music going, we have the same scents, we have the same temperature, we have the same, like everything's the same, and humans want consistency. And so when we are consistent in our chiropractic office, then that just allows your whole body to say, oh, it smells the same. It looks the same. She's the same. Like, my hair is the variable for sure. But everything else is like cues of safety. Like this building is truly a healing sanctuary, and you can feel it now because all the practitioners that enter this building bring that with them. Sorry, I become a ghost. But looking around in your environment at work, at home, and look for your cues of safety and see what that does to your brain. Like just a little bit of like, I'm here now, like I'm present. I can see beautiful things around me. I've got a cozy sweatshirt on. I've got my feet are happy and good shoes. I've got my dog. So those kinds of things. And then also be adding an adjustment in, like Dr. Paula said, in a beautiful, welcoming, well-curated environment towards cues of safety allows for great, amazing healing.
And also thinking about like when you're out there, so whether it's home, whether it's work, what other chaos is. So I have I'll just give you guys I'll give you a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
So I don't have storage in my house, very little, and I have a third bedroom, and throughout the summer it becomes like a clutter bomb. It's like it's a storage room. It's got everything in there. Like I have no other storage but this bedroom. It's a freaking disaster. And if anybody peeked their head in there, you'd be like, homegirl's got hoarder issues. But the rest of the house is like, looks fine. It's just when you don't have storage, you end up like, where do you put everything? And of course, then my daughter takes things and just tosses them in there. And so that creates mental chaos for me. I keep the door shut, but then I'm still walking by it going, that tiger is sitting in there. And so that's one of my projects is I need to go in there and I need to clean that up and I need to purge it. And I need to get rid of stuff because that kind of thing, that clutter around you creates mental clutter. It creates mental chaos. Again, you feel like it's not that the saber-toothed tiger is chasing you, but he's literally like sitting right next to you the whole time. And you're just like, I am just not all that comfortable. But so look at the environment around you and where can you start to get your nervous system so it feels safe, so it feels open. And the more you can clear that physical clutter, the more your brain is going to be like, oh, yeah, now I'm not stressing. I don't have brain fog. I can sleep better. That sort of underlying angst starts to disappear. And you're like, oh my God, it's cathartic. Mm-hmm. How many times do we clean our closets in spring and fall? Cleaning out the closet. And it's so cathartic when you're done, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I've been in my own, I want to call it fight or flight, but this building is huge and I've had a roof issue on part of the building. So 2 weeks ago, it was finally solved. And now, because I don't have that part of the noise in now, so I have a lot, this 10,000 square feet here, but my office space is quite large. And I have this big room. This is my office that I sit and do all my stuff. I like my desk to be cleared by the end of the day, or at least piles stacked neatly. But as I'm going through, I'm like, hang a curtain here and I'm like organizing and I'm putting away because I collect decorations, or I'll like pick up some really nice wood furniture that someone's throwing out and I'll bring in like another piece of furniture because I have a lot to furnish still. I have a third story that's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment that will eventually be that. So I'm always picking up really nice wood furniture. I have decorations that I'll grab. Like I just picked this up at a secondhand store. I freaking love this mug. It's so beautiful to me. But anyway, things gather and I started to like organize and I'm like undoing totes yesterday. And it's interesting because even my office manager and my contractor, they'll come back and be like, what's different back here? Like automatically they also like the noise in their world is quieting. And it So when that's quieter and clutter is taken care of and put away and organized, then we have more bandwidth. Because if we have that's rolling, 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 then we're like redlining in our nervous system. And then one little thing and our immune system's, down, and our we can't digest our world because it's too chaotic. Just all that kind of stuff. And so it starts to sort of like more zen. And the more that we can do that, the happier our nervous system is. And the happier our nervous system is, the healthier our body is, no matter what, cross the board, no matter what. So
It starts to free up your bandwidth for the things you want to do versus the things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we skipped things because we're like, oh my God, if I don't get this thing done, I'm going to scream.
Yeah.
And again, like, think about that. Like, you want to scream. You said to yourself multiple times, if I don't get that done, I'm going to scream. That is fight or flight. Mm-hmm. That is you running from that saber-toothed tiger or the pile of papers that sits over there that needs to get scanned in.
I know, I have one of those.
And it's like, I'm going to scream. I just wish the tiger would go do the scanning.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really interesting too, because, I think we compartmentalize things, and I have a good friend of mine is going through a divorce. As you know, I've shared stories, and she, and just talking to her today, and I've said this to her over the years, but I said it to her twice today. I said, you have forgotten more things than you have even remembered, because she had for 20 years in this marriage with this man who was like just very verbally abusive and very disconnected and emotionally disconnected, physically, like he would just like leave her with the kids and be like, I'm just going out. I need some space. And he'd leave her with the kids. And it's just a terrible, terrible environment to be a part of a relationship like that. But I said, yeah, you've probably just forgotten more things than have actually happened. And I said, that's your brain. That was your brain. That's your protective mode. Mm-hmm. And she's just like unhinged now, trying to just get out of this marriage and get it over with. And the more she's thinking about, like, things start popping in her head, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I put up with that. And he said this to me, and he said that to me, and, calling her useless and worthless. And it's like, you don't call any human mm-hmm. that, let alone somebody that you love, that's like you're raising children with. So anyway, the whole thing is like, even though, and this happens a lot with people in bad relationships, and then they get out, is that then they're like, okay, I went through a divorce, I'm fine. But you've just had 20 years of fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And so that takes time to reset the nervous system. So just because the thing ends, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whatever the bad thing is, and then you're like, oh, thank God, you now have to concern yourself with optimizing the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, a lifetime of things that have caused this damage to your nervous system. So understanding that, and then people are like, I went for 4 adjustments. Why didn't it work? Well, because you brought 30 years of shit to the office. So,
Yeah, there's that too, for sure. And, we can go right back to principle number 6 that we talked about, which is everything takes time. And there is a lot of so there's a lot of death going on right now inside of my practice, not my people dying, but people in their lives dying. And also there's been, I think, 3 dogs put down in the last week, just aged out. Like they just need to go. But the lead up to a sick spouse or a sick parent or there's actually a sick daughter. The lead up to that is like months of figuring out the chaos of the illness, or, the end of life kind of stuff. And that's not one adjustment to solve. Like it reminds me of something that you talk about with functional medicine. I kind of want to bring this up, which is like, you have to, I forget, it's the R's, right? So you have to
remove, repair, replace.
And then replace and like literally rebuild. And I really feel like the nervous system works in that way as well, which is like remove. We have to remove the interference. And then we have to like allow the body to then take on this removal of through this information superhighway. And then we literally start to repair. But that is principle number 6, everything takes time. So yes, although it's nice to get to the other side of something, what it's done damage wise with the stress hormones, the cortisol, the adrenaline, and all the things that you've robbed Peter to pay Paul with your health, it just takes time. And I have this one patient that is like in PTSD sleep, like sleep has evaded her for 6 months. It's been a challenge, but really for a few years. And, you know, it's like, there's so much of like that fight or flight in the middle of the night, knowing that the child is going to get up in the morning and you have to tend to an entrepreneurial environment for yourself and all the things. And it's like, it's a continuum. It's never truly solved and resolved. But like Dr. Paula said, when the stresses are here, are adjusting, our nervous system needs to be adjusted regularly. Stress ramps up, adjustment to make sure you stay a little bit ahead of that. Otherwise, you end up just carrying around what Dr. Chestnut, one of our great teachers, calls a backpack full of rocks.
Yeah. Well, let's think about it too, that if you go to the gym once a month and you're like, I don't know why I'm not putting on muscle. I'm not, or you eat one healthy meal a month, or you drink one extra glass of water. So these are, you know, and I don't want to, you know, I'm grateful for any of my patients who come in once a month. It's better than zero.
Right.
But you and I both know they need to be here probably weekly, but somehow they've convinced themselves that once a month is good. So I'm just grateful for that kind of consistency. But that is like saying, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to eat one healthy meal and go to the gym once a month. Why isn't it working? And and this is your nervous system, you guys. It's your brain. It's all the information superhighway. It's how your body functions. It's how your body heals. It's how you relate to life. And so I think we just need to get the bigger picture of, let's really start to tap in and take care of this thing, because our levels of dementia and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, I mean, these neurodegenerative brain diseases are just crazy. And I'm not claiming that chiropractic is going to save you from that. But what I am saying is that the more you do to take care of your nervous system, the less likely you will walk that path. Those are paths of sickness, illness, destruction, poor quality lifestyle, toxic lifestyle, stress, trauma. We are in the business of trying to move you away from that and move you up the scale of health, and not allowing you to get into a state of chronic health issues. So that's the difference between chiropractic and medicine, is we want to make sure that we are optimizing your health and not just giving you medications to balance out whatever condition you may have.
I have a patient that was in earlier today, and she's a phlebotomist, and she works for Quest. And she started under chiropractic care maybe like 4 months ago, and she's got great results. I mean, they're always those appointments at that place it's crazy what goes on there. It's amazing what they do and how fast they do it, and draw blood and you're out the door, right? But she had what looked like a planner. So it's the size of like a normal planner would be, like a regular book size or paper size. And I looked at it, and it had beautiful like flowers and herbs on the front of it. And my brain is like, it looks like a calendar, but it says adaptogens. Like, what is that? So I was like, I said, what do you have with you? And she's like, oh, I'm just reading about herbs. And I'm so interested. She said, I have my own herbs, but I'm so interested. And I'm like part of the way through this adaptogens book. And I'm like, good on you, because she's literally like ingrained in the medical field and doing that work for, I don't know how long. And she's like, really, it was really, really interesting. And she's like, yeah. And I said, isn't it great that right now, like, you know, as chiropractors, we've been waiting for people to really start questioning Western medicine. We question it there's a time and place for it, but we question all the regular Western medicine practices. And I said, isn't it great we're getting back to like the roots of what is happening? And she said, yeah, there's an apothecary here in town. And I wanted to go in there, but I wanted to read a little bit about all the healing of herbs first. And I'm like, oh, that woman, she actually gets like a lot of, she does a lot of education about it, because there's so much you could just go
Right.
forage for, and you'll find a ton of, sorry, I become a ghost. You'll find a ton of,
It's October. You're fine.
I know you'll find a ton of healing just out in our world. So it was really awesome as people are opening their eyes more and more to healing comes from within. It is as at a chiropractic office. We're super grateful that people are finding us. I mean, my new patient list is crazy right now, because people are just they're questioning everything, and we are really digging it. So yeah.
Well, I think that's, I know you're a little short on your time today, so want to be respectful of that. And I think just to wrap things up is that if you are still struggling and suffering and not sure why is what I'm not doing working, then you need to find yourself a good chiropractor so that we can help talk you through it. We're going to take that 30,000 foot view and help move you in the right direction, move you up the scale, but it is going to take time. So, and I think that is where a lot of people, they're like, oh, what, why I can't come in once. And I get people who come in for functional medicine and they're like, well, I can't afford to come back. And I'm like, I don't know what you can't afford not to. Like, this is your life. So we need to start thinking, looking in the mirror and stop lying to ourselves. And where are we spending money on things that aren't serving our health? What are we doing that's making us sick and not well? What should we be doing to then start to turn that ship around and say, you know what? I think I can start going to the chiropractor. I think I can start going to the gym. I think I can start, and you just start taking those steps to put these healthier habits and lifestyles into your life. And I promise there's no, you will never regret doing things that invest in your health ever.
For sure. No, for sure.
Yeah. So anywho, so with that, we thank everybody for being here and all your engagement in the chat. And please like and share, subscribe, all the good things. Let everybody know that we are on a mission to educate the world on health and wellness and chiropractic. So we will see you guys next Thursday.
With Halloween costumes?
Oh, we're going to be all costumed up. Okay. Bring your costume. Okay. See you guys.